Oh my goodness! I feel like I've been mining forever! Wait just a second. Is that stone brick? What the heck? Wait, is this the stronghold? Huh? What's that? What the heck? Oh my god! It's the secret emerald amethyst portal! That's so rare!
I'm pretty sure I found the funniest fake Minecraft speedrun because the speedrunners are absolutely terrible at hiding the fact that they're literally cheating. This speedrunner loads into the world, and immediately we see a desert temple and also a desert village out in the distance, which is a very good spawn for a speedrun, but we can already tell that something is fake. You see, if we look at their coordinates in the top left, they are not at 0, 0, which means that this is not a normal spawn. Well, the speedrunner immediately heads towards the pyramid, and they begin digging their way down. Once at the bottom, they loot all 4 chests that all have completely normal loot, but each chest does have 1 diamond each, which is incredibly suspicious, but it's not impossible. But once the speedrunner finishes looting the pyramid, they begin building and breaking their way out of the pyramid. And once they exit the pyramid, they begin making their way towards the village. But wait just a second. Did you say that? Well, in case you didn't, if we rewind the footage and then pause it here, we can see what appears to be a strider. But you see, striders can only spawn inside of snowy biome, which means a strider being here is completely impossible. Well, as the speedrunner starts heading towards the village, they break some dead bushes, which gives them a few sticks, which is actually a thing that a lot of pro speedrunners tend to do. So this part seems pretty legit. Well, the speedrunner arrives at the village, but wait, I just now noticed something that I didn't notice before. And in case you haven't noticed it either, here, I'll show you. You see, on the left side of the screen, we can see a player trying to blend in with the sand in the background. And whenever you're speedrunning, you have to make sure that you're in a single player world. So if they're playing with another person, then this immediately makes the speedrun completely fake. And whenever the speedrunner gets inside one of the village's houses, we can see the speedrunner's friend change their skin inside chat. And you're not gonna believe what they do next. Well, the speedrunner breaks the crafting table and then finds a chest that has some iron and some bread. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Well, the speedrunner places down their crafting table and then they make themselves an iron pickaxe and diamond boots. The speedrunner then breaks the crafting table and then starts exploring more of the village. But wait just a second. Did you see what I just saw? Well, in case you didn't, if we rewind the footage and then play the video from here, we can see a villager walk right by them. Except this isn't a normal villager, as I'm pretty sure this is the speedrunner's friend that we saw earlier trying to blend in with the sand. And at first, I didn't even notice that this was a fake villager. Well, the speedrunner explores more of the village and then starts breaking some hay bales. They also start mining some potatoes, where once again we can see this fake villager that we saw earlier. And if you think that this villager is fake, just see what they do next. Well, the speedrunner breaks all of the potatoes, and then we suddenly see a pressure plate on the ground. But the only thing is that pressure plates do not naturally spawn, as they can only be crafted. And of course, the speedrunner steps on the pressure plate, where they suddenly get launched 800 blocks into the sky. But wait just a minute. You see, I only have 32 subscribers, and I really want to reach 33. So if just one of you subscribe, then I could finally reach my dream of 33 subscribers. But when they eventually start falling back down, they're in a completely different area. Because before they were in a desert, and now we can see them in a plains biome. But how could they have possibly done this? Well, I'm not too sure. But the speedrunner falls back down and lands in some water. And once they get out of the water, they then find a ruin portal that is only missing 1 piece of obsidian. So the speedrunner loots the ruin portal chest, which has a flint and steel, a piece of gold, a golden chest plate, and 1 obsidian, of course. So the speedrunner places in the 1 obsidian and lights the nether portal. Once they load into the nether, we can see that they spawn right next to a nether fortress. But if we play the video for 5 more seconds, we can see that this is clearly not a normal nether fortress. So I'm pretty sure the speedrunner just went inside a creative and built their own nether fortress, which in case you're new to Minecraft is just simply not legit. But the speedrunner goes up the staircase, where they suddenly find a piglin. Something about this piglin tells me that it's not real, and you'll see why I say this in just a sec. So the speedrunner opens up their inventory, grabs a piece of gold, and drops it to the piglin. The piglin, of course, examines the gold and drops them an enchanted diamond sword. Okay, this is obviously fake, but that's not even the craziest part, because you see, the diamond sword has sharpness 3000. I didn't even know that was an enchantment inside of Minecraft. Well, the speedrunner walks away from the piglin and goes outside, where they find a blaze. Guys, am I the only one seeing that this is clearly not a real blaze? Well, the very real blaze attacks attacks the speedrunner, and then the speedrunner just one-hits them. And the Blaze, of course, drops blaze rods. But how many blaze rods? Well, let's see. The Blaze dropped a stack of blaze rods because, of course. Well, the speedrunner now has all of the blaze rods that they need, so they leave the nether, and once they're back in the overworld, they go around in circles for a little bit until they suddenly start dropping down below into a cave. Now, when I watched this part for the first time, I was very confused, because why would the speedrunner go inside of a completely random cave? Well, you'll see why they do this in just a moment. Well, the speedrunner drops down below, and we can see what appears to be a stone brick tunnel, which, if you know anything about Minecraft, you know that stone brick usually means that it's a stronghold. But the only problem is that they're at Y level 38, and strongholds can only appear at Y level 16 or below, which makes this part of the speedrun completely fake. Well, the speedrunner walks towards the stronghold and mines their way in, and that's when we can see that the end portal is already lit and it's made out of diamonds and amethyst? Guys, how is this even possible? Everybody knows that end portals are made from end frames and not diamonds, which confirms that this part of the speedrun is very, very fake. Well, the speedrunner begins to jump into the portal, but wait, do you see what I see? Well, in case you don't, here, I'll show you. Behind the iron bars, we can see what appears to be a villager, which once again, I have a weird suspicion could be the speedrunner's friend that we saw all throughout the speedrun so far. Well, the speedrunner enters the end, and once they load in, they build up with hay bales and begin searching for the ender dragon. But the speedrunner runs up towards the ender dragon and hits it one time, which somehow kills it. I had no idea that sharpness 3000 was this OP. Well, now that the ender dragon is dead, the speedrunner jumps into the portal and finishes the speedrun with a time of 6 minutes and 24 seconds, giving them the new world record. Now, this speedrunner starts by loading into the world, where immediately we can see a village, which for a speedrun, that is a pretty good spawn. Well, the speedrunner immediately heads over to the village and begins breaking down this villager's house for some wood. They turn the wood into a crafting table to make themselves a wooden axe. They then break their crafting table and find the iron golem. But whenever they attack the iron golem, something insane happens. Well, just watch it for yourself.
Oh, there he is, there he is. Come here, iron golem. Hiya. Okay. Hold on, I gotta build up. Okay, come here, iron golem. Oh my god, what the heck? Oh, what the heck? Oh! I'm on half a heart.
Did that iron golem just build blocks? Never in my 83 years of living have I ever seen an iron golem place down blocks. So something tells me that this is not a real iron golem, and instead it might be the speedrunner's friend using a mod to turn themselves into an iron golem. And this even further proves my point based on what they do next.
I'm on half a heart. Iron golem, please. Iron golem. Oh no. Oh, come here, iron golem. Oh, you fell in a hole, you stupid little iron golem. Take that, iron golem. Hiya. Hiya. Oh, that stupid iron golem. Thank you for the 29 iron. Holy moly macaroni.
The speedrunner killed the iron golem, which dropped them 29 iron ingots. But a normal iron golem can only drop a maximum of 5 iron ingots, which means that this iron golem is 100% fake. Well, the speedrunner finds a blacksmith, and of course they head inside and loot the chest, which has some normal loot. But I want you to listen to what the speedrunner says.
Hopefully this blacksmith has like super good loot. Okay. Oh, we got some apples, some gold, and some apples, and some gold, and some iron. Oh, that was a fantastic chest. Oh, what the heck is in my hand? Are we serious right now? Actually, I am kinda hungry. I'll be eating that. Mr. Villager, I don't feel so good, Villager. That did not feel good.
How did the speedrunner magically gain a piece of poop? Well, if we rewind the footage and then play it again from right here, we can see that there is a player in the window, and this player breaks the window and drops the speedrunner a piece of poo. And something tells me that this player is the iron golem that we saw earlier, and that would immediately disqualify the speedrun as being legit, because whenever you speedrun, you always have to make sure that you are in a single player world. Well, now that the speedrunner for some reason ate the poop, they exit the blacksmith and place down their crafting table to make themselves an iron sword, an iron chest plate, iron pants, iron boots, and an iron helmet. So now they have full iron armor, which for the start of a speedrun is actually extremely good. But once again, I just want you to listen to what the speedrunner says.
Oh my goodness. I just ran out of food. I need more food. Oh, hay bales, hay bales. Hay bales are like the best food in the entire world. Hay bales are so cool. Hay bales are like one of my favorite hay bales. I love hay bales. Okay. Now I need to go back to my crafting table to make some bread.
Did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and then pause it right here, we can see what appears to be a, what the heck is this? Yeah, I have never seen a mob like this in my entire life, which once again makes me believe that it's the speedrunner's friend that we keep on seeing throughout the speedrun. The speedrunner heads back to the crafting table and makes themselves 15 bread. They of course break their crafting table and begin exploring more of the village until they find something absolutely insane. Well, just watch it for yourself.
Okay, what do we have? Anything at all? What the heck? Is that a sniffer? What the heck, sniffer? Oh, bye-bye, sniffer. Thank you for the nether portal. That's such a nice sniffer. He's so nice. Bye, sniffer. Bye.
Yeah, we just saw a sniffer building a nether portal. And not only that, the nether portal is extremely small, because this is what a normal nether portal looks like. And it is physically impossible to get another portal that looks like this unless you have mods, which once again is against the rules of speedrunning. Well, the speedrunner begins heading into the nether, but wait just a second. You see, I currently have 0 subscribers, and it's always been my dream to one day reach 1 subscriber. So if you would like to be my first subscriber, then that would genuinely make my entire day. But once a speedrunner is inside the nether, they spawn inside of a fortress, which is extremely lucky. But if you look down inside the chat, the speedrunner did gain the advancement a terrible fortress, which means that this is the speedrunner's first time entering the fortress, which makes me believe that this part could actually be real, but I'll let you watch it for yourself.
Oh my goodness, I spawned inside of the nether fortress. That's so lucky. Well, come here, you little iron blaze. Oh my goodness, so many blazes, so many blazes. I've never seen so many blazes in my entire life.
For some reason, none of the blazes are moving. And if I'm being completely honest, I have no idea how they did this. So if you know how they did this, then please let me know, because I am so confused. But once a speedrunner kills 27 blazes, they eventually get 6 blaze rods. So now all they need are ender pearls. But the way that the speedrunner gets ender pearls is absolutely insane. Well, I'll just let you watch it for yourself.
So now all I need are ender pearls. Where the heck can I get an ender pearl? Oh, is that an enderman? Come here, enderman, come here! Get back here, enderman, get back here! Ha 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 ha! It's a dead end, enderman. Give me your balls. Thank you. Oh my god, there's so many balls, there's so many balls! I'll spare you this time, enderman.
The speedrunner chased the enderman all the way until they got to a dead end, and the enderman, begging for its life, just ended up dropping a bunch of ender pearls. But in case you couldn't tell, this enderman is not a real enderman, because this is the same exact player that we have been seeing throughout the entire speedrun. Well, now that the speedrunner has 16 ender pearls and 6 blaze rods, they go back to the portal, and once they're in the overworld, they turn their blaze rods into blaze powder and make themselves 12 eyes of ender. But now for this next part, I just want you to watch this for yourself.
Oh, stronghold. Oh, it's over there, it's over there, it's over there. I think I'm gonna go in this direction. I don't really want to go over there. Actually, I was getting kind of thirsty. I think I'm gonna drink some of this water. It's so thirsty. Oh.
What the heck? How did this fountain of water bring the speedrunner to the end? Okay, if I'm being honest, this has gotta be the fakest speedrun I have ever seen. Well, once the speedrunner is inside of the end, we can see the same player that we saw at the blacksmith earlier inside of the speedrun. But I'm just gonna let you watch this next part for yourself.
Is that the poop man? Oh, he's building me a bridge. Oh, thank you, poop man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Poop man, I've never ever beat the Ender Dragon before. Can you help me beat the Ender Dragon? What? Oh, poop man! No!
Are we being serious right now? The Poop Man built the bridge for the speedrunner to get to the island, but it's not gonna help them defeat the Ender Dragon. Nope. Well, at least the speedrunner is gonna beat the Ender Dragon without cheating, right? But I'll just let you watch this next part for yourself.
Guess I'm gonna have to do it myself. Get over here, Ender Dragon! Get down here, Ender Dragon! Oh my god! Oh, I dodged it. He's not perching. Oh god, this Ender Dragon is taking way too long to perch. What a stupid little Ender Dragon. Finally, the Ender Dragon's perching! Get over here, stupid Ender Dragon! Oh, ow, ow! No, 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 no! Hiya! Oh my god, I almost died, but I clutched up with my Ender Pearl. Oh, ow, ow! Enderman, stop it! Stop it, Enderman! I have to kill the Ender Dragon! Please, stop it! Let me kill the Ender Dragon! Oh, the stupid Enderman! That's it, I quit,
The speedrunner waited 2 whole minutes for the Ender Dragon to perch, and once it did, they just died to an Enderman. And from that point on, they just completely give up on the speedrun, which is extremely embarrassing. This speedrunner starts by loading into the world, where immediately we can see a pyramid and also a village, which is a very good spawn for speedrunning. The speedrunner immediately heads over towards the pyramid and begins breaking their way in. And once they land down below, we immediately see something that is fake. And in case you didn't catch it, then here, I'll show you. If we look down at their hearts, we can see that they are full HP. But if we rewind 5 seconds ago, we can see that they jumped down into the pyramid and took no fall damage, which, if you ask me, is incredibly suspicious, because any normal speedrunner would have taken fall damage here. So the speedrunner begins looting the pyramid, and inside of each chest, they find some pretty normal loot, like sand, rotten flesh, and even diamonds. But wait just a second. If we look at the loot from every single chest, and we examine it very closely, we can see that inside of every single chest, there were diamonds. But not only that, the diamonds were placed directly in the middle of each chest, which is technically possible, it is just very weird. But the speedrunner did gain the advancement diamonds inside chat, which means that there is actually a good chance that this could be real. So the speedrunner builds their way back up, exits the pyramid, and begins making their way to the village that we saw at the start of the speedrun. Hold on just a second. If we take a closer look at the speedrunner's inventory, we can see a diamond pickaxe. But where did they get this? Because they were just inside the pyramid and they had no diamond pickaxe. Well, if we rewind the video and then play it again from right here, we can see as they exited the pyramid, they picked up a diamond pickaxe. So the speedrunner probably dropped a diamond pickaxe before the speedrun began and hoped that we wouldn't notice. Well, the speedrunner finally arrives at the desert village, but hold on just a second. Did you see that? Well, in case you didn't, if we rewind the footage and then pause it right here, we can see what appears to be a blue axolotl. But how is this possible? Because blue axolotls can only spawn inside of jungles, not inside of a desert village. And this blue axolotl isn't even the fakest part about the speedrun, because what the speedrunner does at the end is absolutely insane. Well, the speedrunner completely ignores the blue axolotl and begins exploring more of the village. But hold on just a second. This house right here is called an armor, and this is what the inside of this house typically looks like. But whenever the speedrunner enters this house, we can see that there is a chest that never spawns here, which means that there is a good chance that whatever is inside this chest is completely fake. Well, the speedrunner walks up to the chest and finds tons of iron loot, which we all know is just not legit. Well, the speedrunner takes all of the iron loot and even puts on some iron armor. They then begin exploring more of the village and even mine some hay bales for food and some beds to blow up the Ender Dragon later, which is actually a pro speedrunner strategy. But wait just a second. You see, I currently have 6 subscribers and it's always been my goal to one day reach 7 subscribers. So if you can help me out, that would genuinely mean the world to me. They then find a crafting table where they then craft themselves some bread, 2 iron ingots, iron pants, and an iron helmet. Well, now that the speedrunner has some pretty good loot, they begin by exploring more of the village. But wait just a second. Did you see that? Well, if I rewind the footage and pause it right here, we can see what appears to be a command block with a pressure plate on top of it. And if you know anything about Minecraft, you know that command blocks are physically impossible to get inside of survival Minecraft, which means that it is very likely that the speedrunner placed this command block down inside of creative. Well, the speedrunner looks around to make sure no one's looking, where they suddenly step on the pressure plate, and wait, what the heck? heck? Are they entering the nether? Oh, well, I guess they're in the nether now. And not only that, they also spawned inside of the fortress. And once again, we can see that they gain the advancements inside chat, which means that this is their first time in the nether and their first time entering a fortress, which means that this could actually be real. Well, the speedrunner begins exploring the fortress, where they suddenly walk up to a wither skeleton, but for some reason, it's not attacking him, which, if I'm being completely honest, I have no idea how this is even possible. Well, the speedrunner decides to randomly mine into a wall where they find a golden block. But the thing is, golden blocks cannot spawn inside of fortresses, as they can only spawn inside of bastions. And this isn't the only time they do this, because once again, they mine into the wall and find another golden block. And they even do this 2 more times. Well, now that they have 4 golden blocks, they turn them into golden ingots. They then begin digging out a hole, likely to begin trading with piglins. They then place down a crafting table and make themselves golden boots. Now that they have golden boots, they explore more of the fortress and eventually find a piglin. They try pushing the piglin over towards their hole, but it just walks away. So the speedrunner then picks up the piglin. Wait, what? I had no idea that picking up a piglin was even possible. So this caught me completely off guard. And I'm not even gonna lie, if you think that picking up a piglin was insane, then you're gonna be even more surprised for what the speedrunner does at the end. Because trust me, it is absolutely insane. Well, the speedrunner places the piglin inside of their hole, and then they go around the fortress some more, finding 2 more piglins and placing each of them inside of the hole as well. They spend some time trading with the piglins, but eventually they only get 4 ender pearls, which is not enough to enter the end. Well, now that the speedrunner is out of gold, they explore more of the fortress. But hold on just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we zoom into their hotbar, we can see that they have 16 ender pearls. But whenever they were trading with the piglins, they only had 4. So where did they magically get 12 ender pearls? Well, if we rewind the footage and play it again from right here, we can see a sudden cut where the speedrunner magically gained 12 ender pearls. So I believe that the speedrunner went inside of creative mode and gave themselves ender pearls, but just cut it out of the speedrun, which is against the rules of speedrunning. Well, now that the speedrunner has all of the ender pearls they need, they begin looking for blazes. They begin killing a bunch of random blazes, but sadly, they only have 1 blaze rod. But then, out of nowhere, the speedrunner randomly looks at the floor, and now they have 20 blaze rods. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is just embarrassing at this point. Just like what they did with the ender pearls, they just gave themselves more blaze rods, which once again is against the rules of speedrunning. Well, now that the speedrunner technically has everything they need to enter the end, they begin making their way back towards the nether portal. Now, once they're in the overworld, they turn their blaze rods into blaze powder and make themselves 12 eyes of ender. They then throw their eye of ender, and they begin heading in that direction. But hold on just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and pause it right here, we can see a bunch of random stone brick, which is the same exact material that is used for the stronghold. Well, the speedrunner drops down into the hole, and what the heck is that? It's just a floating end portal? I am so confused. Well, I guess the speedrunner enters the end, and once they're in the end, they look around for a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie, everything looks pretty normal. The ender dragon has full health, and they don't even gain any random new items. But they do sit here for a few seconds when out of nowhere they begin flying? Are we serious right now? So the speedrunner flies over to the main island, and now that the speedrunner apparently had fly hacks this entire time, it should be very easy for them to kill the ender dragon. Well, the speedrunner places down some blocks at the portal, but the ender dragon is taking a while to perch. So the speedrunner gets impatient and just starts flying over to the ender dragon, hitting it over and over again until eventually the ender dragon perches, and the speedrunner flies around hitting the ender dragon when suddenly the speedrunner just dies. Even with hacks, the speedrunner still could not kill the ender dragon. That speedrun was so embarrassing. This speedrunner starts inside of a plains biome, and we can also see what appears to be a village on the right side of the screen, which is actually a pretty lucky spawn, especially for a speedrun. But that's not all, just listen to what the speedrunner says.
Oh my god. Oh, is that another portal? Oh my god, right next to a village? That's literally so lucky.
The speedrunner is actually right. This is a very lucky spawn, which makes the speedrun start out very, very suspicious. Well, the speedrunner makes her way towards another portal when this happens.
Hopefully, the nether portal has like super good loot. Oh my goodness, a chest?
But wait, before they open the chest, did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and pause it here, there are 2 diamond blocks in this ruin portal, and a normal ruin portal always has 1 gold block. So something leads me to believe that the speedrunner built this portal themselves. But that's not all, because what they find inside the chest is absolutely crazy.
My goodness, a chest? Oh, enchanted golden apple! Oh my goodness, I got so lucky! Oh, all my loot now.
Okay, enchanted golden apples are extremely lucky, I can't lie. But at the same time, this is very possible that this is legit, so I have no proof that this part of the speedrun is fake.
I have enough obsidian to build the portal, and boom! Oh, but wait, I can't break the crying obsidian. Well, whatever.
Since a speedrunner can't break the crying obsidian, they make their way towards the village.
Alright, let's see if the village has any good loot for me. Oh my goodness, a blacksmith? Oh, what the heck? There's no loot inside a blacksmith? Oh my goodness, whatever. Stupid villager blacksmith.
You see, this part is very weird considering these chests always have loot inside of them. But why would the speedrunner take all of the loot out of the chest? Well, I'm not too sure. But the speedrunner does need food. So they begin by destroying the villager's farm. But what happens next is very, very weird.
Alright, I need food, so I need to get all of the beetroots. That way I cannot be hungry at all. Ever again. Hello, Mr. Villager. Hello. Get out of here. Stupid villager. You little dumb villager.
Did you see that? Well, in case you didn't, let me rewind the footage and pause it here. We can see a player dressed up in a cow costume inside of a pen with other cows. And at first, I didn't even notice him. But the weirdest part is that cows cannot even spawn inside of the plains biome. Because everybody knows that they can only spawn inside of snowy biome. So a cow being here in the first place is completely impossible. Well, the speedrunner ignores the cow and begins looting more of the village.
Alright, hopefully the other houses actually have good loot because I literally need good loot to beat the speedrun.
But wait just a second. You see, it's always been my dream to one day reach 100,000 subscribers. And I am currently 84% of the way there. So if you would like to help me become one step closer towards my dream, then please consider subscribing.
Alright, test. Oh my goodness, only 4 apples? Are you serious? Only 4 apples? Oh, this stupid, dumb, stupid villager house. So stupid.
But wait, did you see that? The speedrunner is holding an iron pickaxe. But if you look at the footage from 10 seconds ago, they did not have an iron pickaxe. And the chest only had apples. So where did they get an iron pickaxe? Well, if we rewind the footage back when they were looting the chest, the window on their left suddenly breaks. And we can see someone throw an iron pickaxe for the speedrunner. Which I have a weird feeling could have been the cow that we saw earlier. But we can't physically see the cows, so it's only speculation. The speedrunner then decides that they're gonna go back towards the ruined portal until something very, very weird happens.
Well, at least I have an iron pickaxe so I can go mine the diamonds in the portal because I got super lucky and that it's diamonds and not gold. Alright, diamonds, prepare to not be diamonds anymore and to prepare going with my inventory.
But wait just a second. Do you see what I see? Well, if you don't, here, I'll show you. Earlier in the speedrun, there was crying obsidian. And if you look at the portal now, there is no crying obsidian. But we never watched the speedrunner break the crying obsidian to begin with. And that's not even the craziest part. Just watch what happens next.
I'm pretty sure I left flint and steel in here earlier. Oh, I did. Oh my, thank goodness gracious that I left that in there for that one that is for.
The chest somehow had a flint and steel. But earlier, the speedrunner took every single item out of the chest. So something isn't adding up. The speedrunner lights the nether portal and enters the nether and says this.
Oh my goodness, I'm in the nether. Wait, what the heck? This is a terrible nether spawn. Oh, wait a minute. No way, I spawned at a ruined portal. That's literally so lucky. Hopefully this ruined portal just has a super good loot. Oh my god, I got diamond boots and gold. Oh, I got speedy boots. Oh my goodness.
Speedy boots? Are you kidding me? You see, it's impossible to find golden boots that have a name that's not golden boots. So how does a speedrunner find boots that say speedy boots? I'm not too sure. Well, the speedrunner equips these golden boots and begins zooming around the map until something unexpected happens.
I'm literally so fast. I'm so fast. Oh my goodness. The speed is so fast and so quick. Oh wait. Oh my god. No. Oh my goodness, if I didn't have that enchanted golden apple, I would probably be dead. Wait, Wait, but where am I?
The speedrunner accidentally fell into the lava with only a half a heart to spare. So it's a good thing they had that enchanted golden apple. But now that they're in a weird place, this is very, very suspicious. I mean, just watch what happens next.
Oh my god, is that a piglet? Oh my god, it's the piglin! Wait, do I have gold? Oh, I have 7 gold. Here you go. Is that enough for super good loot? Oh my goodness, ender eyes! Oh my goodness, 9 ender eyes. Wanna give me one more, please? Thank you. Thank you! Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Mr. Piglin. Thank you so much, Mr. Piglin. Here's a hay bale just for you.
Wow, that was pretty nice of the speedrunner to give the piglin a hay bale. But seriously, there is no way this speedrunner expected anyone to believe that this was real. And also, piglins cannot even drop Eyes of Ender, as they can only drop Ender Pearls. But the craziest part has still yet to come.
Alright, wait a minute, but how am I gonna get out of here? I guess I'm just, oh my goodness, is that the nether portal? Oh, that's literally so lucky.
The speedrunner found an already lit nether portal, which is physically impossible to find in normal Minecraft. So someone definitely went in here and just placed down a whole nether portal before they began the speedrun.
Oh my goodness, wait a minute. Am I in the stronghold?
There is no way that nether portal led them to the stronghold. I refuse to believe it. But wait a minute, I just realized something. If we look at this frame right here and look a little closer at the nether portal, we can see that the nether portal's teleportation area is 3 blocks wide, when a normal nether portal is only 2 blocks wide, which means that this portal was built by a person and not naturally generated. But that's not even the most fake part of this speedrun.
What the heck? That's literally so lucky. Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. I have 10 Eyes of Ender and I need exactly 10. Oh my goodness. That piglin was literally so nice that he did that for me. That was literally like the nicest thing that I think I've ever seen a piglin do in like my whole entire life of my entire life.
The speedrunner had 10 Eyes of Ender, which was the exact amount that they needed, which by itself is very suspicious. But you know what's even more suspicious that I bet you didn't see is that if we rewind the footage and then pause it here, something about this frame right here is completely fake. And if you haven't seen it yet, here, I'll show you. On the right side of the screen, we see someone with a black skin crouching. I reviewed the speedrun 6 separate times without ever noticing that someone was right there. Well, now that the speedrunner finished the portal, they jump in and say this.
Oh my goodness, that's a long fall. Time for me to do hay bale clutch. I saw Dream do that one time like long ago and then he hay bale clutch, so I don't know how to do it.
But wait, I want you to subscribe if you think that they're gonna fail it, and like the video if you think they're gonna do it first try. Okay, well, here's what happened.
And hiya! What the heck? Okay, I was literally like lagging. I would have had it if I wasn't lagging, so that's the only reason why I didn't do it is because I was lagging.
Yeah, of course they completely failed the hay bale clutch, because let's be honest, everyone saw that coming. Okay, the speedrunner said that they were lagging, but let's be honest, they're just bad at hay bale clutching. And they failed, so if you saw them fail that hay bale clutch, that means you have to subscribe. Also, this part coming up is the craziest part of this entire speedrun.
Alright, and boom. Wait a minute. Where the heck is the Ender Dragon at? Ender Dragon! Oh, Ender Dragon! Oh, there's the Ender Dragon! Oh my goodness, Ender Dragon! Get down here and fight me, Ender Dragon! I'm gonna beat the Ender Dragon up with my shovel. It's perching, it's perching, it's perching! Hiya! Die, Dragon, die! Ah, he got me, but he won't get me next time. Get down here, Ender Dragon! You're not gonna win this one! Hiya! Hiya, Ender Dragon, die! Get back here, Ender Dragon! I'm the most bestest. I'm better than Dream. Get over here, Ender Dragon! Ender Dragon! Ender Dragon?
There is no way that the Ender Dragon just died of fall damage. And also, let's be honest, that was just clearly their friend flying around with an elytra, and not the real Ender Dragon. Well, now that the speedrunner has slain the Ender Dragon, they jump into the portal and finish the speedrun with a time of 7 minutes and 35 seconds. This speedrunner starts by loading into the world, where immediately we can see not 1, but 2 ruined portals. And I'm sorry to say this right off the start, but this is completely fake, because ruined portals can only spawn within a 67 block radius of each other. And if we look at these two ruin portals, this is definitely less than 67 blocks. Okay, well, if we completely ignore the ruin portals, we can also see that there is a village right in front of them. So this has got to be a very good seed for a speedrun. Well, the speedrunner immediately starts off by looting the ruin portal chest, where they surprisingly find some pretty normal loot, like some golden nuggets, a golden apple, a golden axe, and even golden boots. All things that are actually possible for a ruin portal to spawn. So nothing seems too suspicious. The speedrunner loots absolutely everything out of the chest. But hold on a second, I just realized something. If we rewind the footage and pause it right here, we can see that the ruin portal is already finished. But don't get me wrong, that's not impossible. There is just a 0.00067% chance of that happening. So either the speedrunner is extremely lucky, or they might be cheating. But once they finish looting the ruin portal chest, they use their golden axe to collect wood from a tree. And after collecting 7 logs, they head into the village and begin collecting some hay bales for food later in the speedrun. But if I pause it right here, there was actually something about this frame that is completely fake. And in case you didn't see it, then here, I'll show you. If we zoom in right here, we can see what appears to be a flint and steel floating in the water. And if you know anything about Minecraft, you know that flint and steel doesn't just randomly float in water like this. Which means it's likely that the speedrunner went inside a creative and threw a flint and steel inside of the water before the speedrun even started, which would actually be completely against the rules of speedrun. Well, the speedrunner continues mining all of the hay bales, and once they finish, they head directly over to the flint and steel and pick it up. This speedrunner is not sneaky at all. Well, the speedrunner then finds the iron golem, which they hit, and for some reason, it doesn't even attack them. And this is actually because whenever you build an iron golem yourself, it won't attack the person who created them, which is why the iron golem just sits there as the speedrunner kills it. And this alone would completely disqualify this as being a legit speedrun. But they continue attacking the iron golem until eventually it dies, giving them 5 iron ingots. And they even gain the advancement acquire hardware inside chat, which means that this is their first ever time collecting iron. And this made me think that the speedrun might actually be real after all. But that's what I thought at first, because what happens later in the speedrun is absolutely insane. Well, now that the speedrunner has 5 iron ingots, they turn their logs into planks. But wait just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and pause it right here, we can see what appears to be a creeper pig. Okay, this is very weird, because the creeper pig can only spawn inside of jungles. And well, if we look at where the speedrunner is, they are clearly not inside of a jungle. So a creeper pig being here is completely impossible. The speedrunner makes himself a crafting table and some sticks. They then place down the crafting table and make themselves an iron pickaxe, an iron sword, and a bunch of bread. They then head inside of a villager's house where they find a bed. And the speedrunner is likely going to collect this bed because beds are something that every single professional speedrunner always uses. But whenever the speedrunner breaks the bed, we can see 2 beds drop. How the heck is this even possible? The speedrunner places down another bed, and oh my god, how are there so many beds? I am so confused. Well, now that the speedrunner has about 67 beds, they then break their crafting table and begin heading back towards the ruin portal that we saw at the start of the speedrun. And once they're at the ruin portal, they wait, what the heck? Wait, what are you doing to that pig? Oh my god, what the heck? Okay. I am absolutely traumatized, but let's just move on. The speedrunner goes up to the ruin portal and holds a flint and steel. So they're likely gonna light the portal, right? Well, the speedrunner eats the flint and steel. Okay, what the heck is going on? The speedrun is absolutely cursed. Well, now the speedrunner doesn't have a flint and steel. So how are they gonna light the portal? Oh, okay, never mind, I guess. They take their new flint and steel, light the portal, and begin heading into the nether. But hold on just a second. You see, I currently have 0 subscribers, and it's always been my dream to one day reach 1 subscriber. So if you could be my first ever subscriber, then that would genuinely make my entire day. Okay, now back to the speedrun. And once there, everything seems pretty normal. They got the advancement we need to go deeper inside of chat, which means that this is their first ever time inside of the nether. So everything should be completely normal here. But of course, it's not. Because the speedrunner looks around for a little bit until they find an enderman. And as the speedrunner walks up to the enderman, we can see that the enderman is not moving. Even when the speedrunner hits the enderman, it still doesn't move. But when they kill it, tons of ender pearls drop everywhere. Okay, how are there that many ender pearls inside that enderman? That's a little bit weird. But now that the speedrunner has a bunch of ender pearls, they look around a little bit more until they find a blaze. This blaze is also not moving and drops tons of blaze rods. Yeah, this speedrun is absolutely insane. Well, now that the speedrunner has blaze rods and ender pearls, we turn their blaze rods into blaze powder and make themselves 16 eyes of ender. And now that they have everything they need to go to the end, they make their way back towards their nether portal and head back into the overworld. And once there, the speedrunner throws their eye of ender. Wait, what? Why are they heading in the opposite direction? Okay, well, the speedrunner continues heading in this direction until they suddenly find a singular piece of bedrock. The bedrock can only spawn at Y level -67, and we are literally on the surface, so a bedrock being right here is physically impossible. The speedrunner walks up to the bedrock and begins eating the bedrock. There's no way the speedrunner can eat the bedrock, right? Oh, okay, I guess not. They just ate the bedrock. Well, now that the bedrock is inside of the speedrunner's stomach, they begin digging straight down with their iron pickaxe until eventually they find the stronghold. Okay, this is a very weird looking stronghold, but whatever, we don't care anymore. This speedrun is clearly fake. They place in the last eye of ender and jump right into the end. And just like whenever they were inside the nether, we can see that they gain the advancement the end, which means that this is their first time in the end. The speedrunner throws their ender pearl and lands on the main island. They head towards the middle of the island and then set up their bed cycle to kill the ender dragon. But then the speedrunner tries to eat an enderman, which makes it very angry. And now there's two endermen chasing the speedrunner. So the speedrunner runs away, but then the dragon throws a fireball, which instantly kills the speedrunner. Okay, so even cheating, the speedrunner still could not beat the ender dragon. That was genuinely embarrassing. The speedrunner starts by creating their world, and everything seems pretty normal. But once they load in, we can see that they're looking slightly down at the ground. And whenever you start a new world, you're always looking perfectly straight, which means that there's actually a good chance that the speedrun could be fake. Now, in this first 5 seconds, I want you to watch the speedrunner very closely, because something seems off.
Oh my god, I love speedrunning. It's like my favorite thing to do. It's like, oh, I love speedrunning.
Did you see it? Well, as the speedrunner went inside of third person, we can see what appears to be a lucky block directly behind them, which is extremely weird because lucky blocks are not inside of normal Minecraft, as they can only be obtained with mods, which makes this part of the speedrun very suspicious. Well, the speedrunner makes their way deeper into the village where they find a chest that has leather boots. Listen to what they say.
Oh, boots? Are we serious? And toilet paper? Oh my goodness, I hate toilet paper. Ew, I'm gonna throw toilet paper. No more toilet paper, I hate toilet paper.
The speedrunner now has leather boots, and it may not seem like it right now, but these leather boots are gonna play a very important part later in the speedrun. Well, the speedrunner begins mining a tree where they gather 4 logs and make themselves a crafting table and craft a wooden pickaxe and a wooden axe. The speedrunner then begins looking for the iron golem, but just watch what happens next.
Alright, Iron Golem, I'm gonna kill you. Thank you for not attacking me, Iron Golem. That's like super nice of you.
Yeah, the speedrunner killed the iron golem, but for some reason it didn't attack them, which is very confusing because iron golems always attack someone who hits them. So the fact that this iron golem for some reason didn't attack is very suspicious. Well, now that the speedrunner has 3 iron ingots, they suddenly remember that they have to do a victory dance. Yeah, just watch this for yourself.
Oh wait, I almost forgot to do my victory dance for killing the iron golem. Are you ready, guys? We killed the iron golem. We killed the iron golem. Yahoo, yahoo, yahoo.
I've never seen a speedrunner stop their speedrun to do a victory dance. And not only that, dancing is not even possible inside of Minecraft unless you have mods. So this likely means that the speedrunner is cheating. Well, the speedrunner explores more of the village where they suddenly find a lava pool. But once again, we can see something that is fake about the speedrun. And I'm just gonna let you watch this for yourself.
Oh my god, a lava pool! Yes! We needed that lava pool for like the longest times ever. Because I love lava pools, I can't even lie.
Did you see that? Well, the speedrunner suddenly gained the advancement Stone Age inside chat, but they weren't mining any stone. So how is this possible? Well, if we rewind the footage and then play it again from right here, we can see the speedrunner suddenly gain a bunch of cobblestone inside of their inventory. But if we look down at the ground, there was no stone on the floor. So how did they do this? Well, if I'm being completely honest, I have no idea. So if you know how they did this, then please let me know. Well, the speedrunner arrives at the lava pool, but But wait just a second. This is what a normal lava pool looks like. And as we can see, there is usually stone around it. But if we look at the speedrunner's lava pool, there is no stone to be seen, which means that the speedrunner likely dug out a hole in the ground and just filled it up with lava, which would be against the rules of speedrunning. Well, the speedrunner places down their crafting table and makes an iron bucket. They fill the bucket up with water, and they then begin constructing the nether portal. I'm not gonna lie, the speedrunner actually knows what they're doing, because they construct the nether portal completely normally. But what's not normal is what they do next.
Alright, so basically that's how you build the nether portal. It's pretty easy, I can't even lie. Right, now that we've finished the nether portal, we can just light it, just like that. There we go.
Hold on just a second. Did you see that? Well, the speedrunner opened up their inventory where they suddenly had a flint and steel. But if we rewind the footage 20 seconds ago, we can see that they had no flint and steel. The fact that they now have a flint and steel is completely fake. Well, once the speedrunner loads into the nether, they use what they call a new speedrunner strategy. And this new speedrunner strategy is something I've never seen before. Well, just watch it for yourself.
Now I just have to try to find where a northern fortress would be. There is like a new speedrunner technique. If you go like this, and then you like smack the top, you can try to calculate where it's gonna be, and there should be one, oh, right over there. Oh my god, straight ahead.
Okay, there's no way that building this weird structure leads them directly to a nether fortress. This is just impossible. And if you think this new speedrunner strategy is insane, then you should see what the speedrunner does at the end, because it is absolutely insane.
So according to my calculations, it should be somewhere up here. Let me turn my render distance up. Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah, right there. Oh my god, I can't believe I figured it out.
Well, the only way to get to the nether fortress is by bridging, so that's exactly what the speedrunner does. But they end up doing something that makes this speedrun completely fake. Well, just watch it for yourself.
So now I'm gonna have to build over there, I guess. I'm not really good at the bridging stuff. Oh no, oh no, oh no! Oh my god! I'm burning! I'm burning!
But hold on just a second. You see, I currently have 0 subscribers, and it's always been my dream to one day reach 1 subscriber. So if you could be my first subscriber, that would genuinely mean the world to me. The speedrunner fell into the lava and somehow has not lost a single heart. But how did they do this? Well, if we rewind the footage all the way back to whenever they were in the overworld and pause it here, we can see that the speedrunner had resistance, which makes the speedrunner completely invincible, which is obviously cheating. And not only that, if we zoom in right here, we can see that the speedrunner's leather boots are now enchanted, which somehow places obsidian everywhere they walk above the lava, which is something I've never seen before. Well, the speedrunner walks all the way over towards the nether fortress and begins building up. But wait just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and then play it again from right here, we can see that as the speedrunner was building up, they ran out of blocks, but then suddenly gained another stack, which means that the speedrunner likely went inside of creative, but just cut it out of the speedrun. Well, now that the speedrunner has finally arrived at the top, they do something absolutely hilarious. Well, just watch it for yourself.
We made it! Yay! Yay! Know what that calls for? Another emote! Oh yeah? Oh yeah! We made it! To the fortress! Yeah, we made it! Yeah, to the fortress! To the fortress! To the fortress! Yahoo!
Okay, this speedrunner is absolutely insane. Well, now that they're at the nether fortress, they begin exploring where they suddenly find this golden netherrack block. And then they find another and another, which leads them directly to a blaze spawner, which makes me believe that the speedrunner placed these here inside the fortress before they began the speedrun, so that way they wouldn't get lost. Well, now that they're at the blaze spawner, I want you to just watch what they do next.
Oh my god, there's the blazy thing! Alright, can you please spawn blazes? That way I can kill them, please. Oh, thank you! Die, blaze, die! Oh my god, that was a hard fight, but I managed to kill the blaze. Oh my god, blazes! Die, blazes, die! Oh my goodness, these blazes are so hard to fight.
Just like the iron golem that didn't attack them earlier in the speedrun, the blazes are also not attacking them. But the only time that mobs don't attack you is whenever you're in peaceful mode. But the speedrunner is losing a bar of hunger, so they're clearly not in peaceful. So my only assumption is that the speedrunner is probably using a mod that makes us that way mobs don't attack them inside of their speedrun, which once again would be against the rules of speedrunning. The speedrunner eventually grabs 5 blaze rods, and once they start killing the 6th one, we can see that they suddenly picked up a stack of ender pearls. Okay, this speedrunner isn't even trying to hide the fact that they're cheating anymore, because this is so obvious. Well, they eventually grab 6 blaze rods, and that's when they decide to turn their blaze rods into blaze powder to make themselves 12 eyes of ender. Hold on just a second. Do you see that? Well, right here, we can see what appears to be a nether portal. How does the speedrunner have a nether portal inside of their inventory? I think I must have missed an update. Well, now that the speedrunner has a nether portal inside of their inventory, they place it down and head back into the overworld. But just watch what happens next.
Oh my god, I'm in the stronghold, I'm in the stronghold. My nether portal led me here. Oh, I guess my nether portal glitched or something. I don't know where it went.
The speedrunner is now somehow inside of the stronghold, but there is no nether portal to be seen, which makes me believe that the speedrunner went inside their nether portal and flew all the way over to the stronghold, but just cut it out, which is very suspicious. Well, the speedrunner places in all of their eyes of ender, and once they're in the end, they build up and head towards the middle of the island. They then look into the eyes of an enderman, which for some reason the enderman just doesn't care, and then they wait for the ender dragon to perch, when suddenly out of nowhere the speedrun cuts and the ender dragon is nowhere to be seen. And listen to their reaction.
What the heck? Well, see you later, alligator.
Well, I guess the speedrunner beat the speedrun with a time of 13 minutes and 54 seconds. Yeah, so even cheating, the speedrunner still could not beat the world record for the fastest speedrun. That was genuinely embarrassing. If you enjoyed that speedrun, then I would highly recommend that you watch this speedrun, because trust me, it's just as cool.